An elevated experience with your Flow Home Internet and mobile combined.
Giving you the best rate for great savings.
With 120 gigs of double data for anything.
And unlimited talk.
On 4 mobile lines.
Simply combine your Flow Home Internet and mobile for the best rate and value. Unlock double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines to go with home internet speeds up to 35 megabits per second. Visit a Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
It's October, and the TDC Home and Building Depot has gone pink in support of breast cancer awareness. Shop in-store or online for our pink tag specials with up to 75% off selected items. And be sure to look out for our Flash Sales Fridays, where you get even more savings. Plus, every Saturday from 10 a.m. till 12 p.m., our team of health professionals will be in-house, offering free breast screening and the chance to win a free mammogram. So this October, remember to think pink. Think TDC Home and Building Depots. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details.
Welcome back. Don't call it a comeback! But after a 2-year break, the Rotary Club of La Amiga returns with the 16th edition of the Primary School Spelling Bee Competition! Primary schools from across St. Kitts will battle for the title Rotary Spelling Bee Jam 2022! This coming Thursday, 20th October at 4 p.m. The place to be is the Antioch Baptist Church to cheer on your favorite school and speller. Admission is free! Premier partners, Rams, Halib Orange Vitamins, and Fruta. You've got to be there.
It's Wednesday, the 19th day of October, and you're logged on to WinFM 98.9 for another episode of Voices. My name is Socrates, today's host. I want to say good morning to all the folks out there on the many platforms, the many time zones around the world, because we are actually out there. I got a phone at the moment. But yes, it's another wonderful day in the Federation of St. Christopher Nevis. And with us in the studio today, we have a very special guest in the person of Dr. Rollins. And we get more into the Dr. Rollins whole thing. We have doctors of the same name in the same household. But today we have Dr. Rollins, and he's a retired scientist and author. And we're going to go on a journey. Let me see. Dr. Samuel Rollins. For those who know him, looking rather handsome there on the cover of his book. We'll be discussing Nobel Peace Prize winner.
Sharing it.
Sharing it. But Dr. Begin your lads. Here's what. Yes, let me have you introduce yourself. And what is it called? Please, go ahead.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Sam Rollins, and I'm a native of Newtown, St. Kitts. And it's so good for me to be here on radio with Socrates Hodge. And today I would like to speak about my autobiography. It's called From Shepherd Boy in the Frigate Bay Hills to Prominent World Scientist. And it's the autobiography of Samuel Rollins. And I just want to share with you because it's the story of my life, and it's been such an exciting life, and such variety. And I think I don't know it'll bring lessons to a lot of people, especially the young people, and especially those who start out life in a difficult situation, and how by just sticking with it, and it's a way that one is going to be able to get the best out of life. No, but I want to say that it's a story of a shepherd boy, a simple boy from Newtown, who ventured out in the latter part of the Windrush period to go to the United Kingdom, first to the UK, spent a while there, then back into the New World, back into the Americas, and spent the rest of my life here. And I just want to encourage people to sort of read this book, because this book is going to make
Inspire?
Inspire, that's right. Especially those who had started life with a disadvantage. So and you could identify with it. But the book is a life of has got about 12 chapters, and it speaks from growing up here in Bastia, and then going to the United Kingdom, living life there for about nine years, but really preferring to live here in the Caribbean. So I came back into the New World.
Back in paradise.
Back to paradise, yeah. But there are three themes going to be coming out in this book, and when you read it. I went to the convent school, and at the time it was called the Convent High School. It has a different name nowadays. And the three themes which come out, and the motto of the school was, that tomorrow find us farther than today. And the motto comes from the Psalm of Life. I didn't know it at that time. I thought it was that the nuns who ran the school made it up themselves. It was the motto coming from the Psalm of Life by Longfellow, and that tomorrow find us farther than today. And out of the 12 chapters, in fact 14 chapters, you're going to find every time the chapter ends with that story, make that tomorrow find us farther than today, because we are building on yesterday, and in fact that is the story of my life. So that's the first theme. Then the second theme is that Caribbean traveler who migrated to many parts of the world and of this generation, and some people say a rolling stone doesn't gather any moss. But I'm here to tell you that a rolling stone sometimes gathers mosses of various sort, but its condition is if you adapt. Now the term adapt is an evolutionary term, in an evolutionary sense, that you adapt, you change to meet the circumstances, and in fact it turns out that tomorrow will find us farther than today. And the third theme is that I'm a man of faith, and I'm here to demonstrate that God has placed many persons in our lives, in our long situations in our lives for our mutual benefit. So you benefit from my presence, and I benefit from your presence, and goodness and faithfulness follow those who trust Him. So that's the
Open salvo.
Yes.
So in short, and we're going to go colloquial, you are a Newtown boy.
Right.
Born just up the bay there by that restaurant.
Exactly,
Alfredo's.
Yes.
So you grew up around that area.
Yes.
You would have seen the development and changes over the years. You traveled to the UK, to the US, you traveled to Guyana, you went to university, all that. You're well-read, you're well-authored, you're a scientist.
Yes.
And now you would have chosen, with all your accolades and accomplishment, to return back to the land of your birth.
Right.
And that journey that I'm going to actually take us through. When you first left here, your impressions overseas, how you, I would say, assimilated into those societies, how you would have benefited from the opportunities there, attending school, etc. And then having accomplished most of what I would suggest you set out to. Okay, what do I want to do the rest of my life? Go back home to St. Kitts. So when I look at St. Kitts then, the opportunities available there then and now. And we got about an hour to let us know more of who you are. And you spoke about your man of faith.
Right.
Which church are you affiliated with?
Well, I'm affiliated with a church that's next door to National Bank. My brother is a pastor there.
Yes, across the street there.
It's called Norwich. That's opposite from where TDC used to be. TDC building.
You're close to the bank. You're close to the money.
I wish there was some of that. It's flowing across, but we managed to survive. Yeah.
Okay. We really want to talk about your book. You said there are 14 chapters.
Yes.
All right, but take us firstly through your childhood in St. Kitts, what it was like then, what inspired you or your parents to have you leave in terms of opportunities that were available back then. We're going to take a journey from here to there around the globe and back.
I want to talk about, just let you know that the book is, this is the cover of the book, and the book is available at Dr. Chatterton's bookshop in Greenlands, Dr. Robert T. Chatterton's bookshop in Greenlands. And if anybody would like, in addition to that, I'm always having copies in my car, so we can talk, and you can call me, and I'll come and present you. Because not because I just want to sell books. I want to share with them the experiences
yes.
of life that we've had. And it's because it's so enriching that I would be ashamed to keep it to
It will
myself.
serve to inspire others,
That's right, especially young people.
younger persons.
Yes, indeed. So. What I grew up in here, in a difficult environment where I speak sometimes as inspirational talk to high school people, and I tell them that when we grew up in Newtown, in Bastia, in St. Kitts, in the 50s and 60s. It was not quite so easy. You had to try to go to high school, and this is the first chapter of this book tells me that my mother had a vision, and she said, "Well, there was no scholarship. Everybody gets to go to high school nowadays, and that wasn't so in those days." I remember in my year, when I tried to go to the grammar school in mid-50s, I think there was just 8 scholarships for
The entire
St. Kitts, Nevis, and Anguilla.
Yes.
And so that was it just was not going beyond. So and many people very bright people I know who I met here after and I've since been back, and they said, well, we didn't pass the scholarship because it was so competitive. But my mother said, look, she's going to take it in her own hands and say we're gonna make sure we're gonna run a business so that we make a little money so that we pay the school fees, and that's how we did. We paid the school fees, and that was fantastic.
You have a mom and pop shop?
Mom and pop shop. We had a corner shop on there where Alfredo is right now. But in addition,
So you had a shop there?
Yeah,
where Alfredo is not situated?
Yes, before
Okay.
Alfredo. But the thing is, she had a vision of she had 6 children, and she had a vision that she's going to make sure that she's going to give them what she never had, and that is a
Sound
good,
education,
sound
opportunities.
education. And so what we did, she had developed a farming. We had a farm, a milk dairy industry,
Okay.
and she managed that from. Mind you, that came with sacrifices in the sense that we had to give up some of your school boyhood things like being able to go play cricket and in the afternoon, because every day hurry home from school, and we had to go take the sheep and goats, take them up to the hills.
A lot of us did that.
Yeah,
It
and
was
hence-
part of the discipline that taught you industry.
Yeah, and hence this is the story that helped me get the name of the book, from shepherd boy in the Frigate Bay Hills, Frigate Bay and Connery Hills, and to become a world scientist. And I just want to encourage that it is possible to get things done, but the only thing is that you have to be prepared to make sacrifices. And so, I mentioned that when I speak to the school
Folks at the high school?
that high school that I explain to them that don't take it for granted because it's free to you.
Today?
Today, the education is not free. Somebody paid for it.
Yep.
And so that we end up with some of them think that they have this education and they do take it for granted. They have the freedom to education. So we in fact had a family farm where we had goat and milk production, sheep, and sometimes we had a few head of cattle, and we had to bring the milk, get the animals, bring the milk, and sort of distribution. Some of us were helping with the distribution. Some were doing the shepherding, and so that was it. So that was the first 15 early years of my life.
Formative years.
Yes, formative years. But we went to school, and we weren't as well off as some of the privileged people. I remember I dictate some of the stories in my book where driving the goats up to Frigate Bay and Connery Hills, and some of my more privileged persons passing by in their motor cars, and they look at you and say, "Oh, is it Sammy? Is that you?" I said, "Yeah, it's me, but I know I have to do this because some of their parents could afford to some of them the
Looking back, would you trade places with those folks?
No, I wouldn't trade with them because unfortunately, what happened? A lot of them never, they were in society people, and they didn't. And look back where they've reached. Some of them just barely surviving.
So you were in fact being groomed And I'll give it a better understanding with education about life.
Yeah. Right.
And
it's
matter
just
where you come from, it's how you apply yourself.
yes. And then, in fact, that education is not just about what you got in school.
Academics.
It's the whole
Education of
idea.
life.
Life.
That's
That's
what
what
it
they say. That tomorrow find us farther than today, and that's where we started, and there we went. Now, when that is the first chapter, and I would invite everybody to read this book because it says how you had to struggle to get where you were, and then the first chapter was life growing up in St. Kitts. Then, about 1962, as I said, the British were about to close off immigration into the United Kingdom, and my mom said, "Well, go on up to the UK and seek your fortune." And I don't know whether you read a story about John Whittington. He became the mayor of London, and but he went from his humble beginnings and then he went and sought and became the mayor of London. And in a sense, that's what I
Give inspiration?
Inspiration.
You drew inspiration from that?
Yeah, and then we went there. I went there, first of all, went to technical college, then went to university, and graduated from London University, then postgraduate from London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, and I became a medical parasitologist and medical entomologist, which suited me very well for the...
You're going to have to slow it down, you know. You have to slow that down for
Yeah.
folks who are trying to wrap their mind around it exactly. I have a concept of what it is, but please walk us through that.
Yeah.
You became a medical parasitologist?
Parasitologist.
So parasites and...
Parasites and entomologists who are
Yes.
vector-borne, you know, when we have...
Diseases?
Later on, we'd see how I came back and worked here as medical entomologist and parasitologist for the PAHO after my sojourn with the University of the West Indies, and so, but that was going through the situation in the UK. Other things happened in my life, and in chapter 2, we're describing how the great new world that we go into, and part of the education, you go to the UK, and then you suddenly find yourself so many people. I don't know if you've been to London.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, and
I spent about 6 months there.
Okay, great.
It's an acquired taste, though.
Yes, my first day there was something which is an education in itself. Having gone from taking on the ship here in the Italian ships were plying at the time, taking people to the UK, but some of them were going to Genoa.
And route to?
And then you took a train across Europe. So can you imagine a simple boy from Newtown going across Europe?
It's a culture shock.
Culture shock. Eventually, you by train, reach the city of London and Victoria Station, and the train escorts all these people, and I'm looking around at near midnight and lost.
You're lost.
Because my sisters,
out of your league.
My sisters were going to meet me, but you see, that was the days before cell phones. And you get out and you miss the connection. And you reach out and I said, but hang on, what's happening here? What did all these people so busy? Thousands and thousands of people.
Like ants.
Yeah. Eventually I met a do-gooder, a fellow who was a lovely man, who I call him, his name was Tadieu. And he said, well, are you lost? I said, yeah, I'm lost because I'm looking for my...
Don't know where to turn.
Don't know where to turn. And then, well, my sister had missed me because they were living there. And anyway, we met them the next day. But this fellow took me up under his wings and said, look, you stay. With him and his wife, they took me to their home that night. But not before I noticed what's happening. A piece of the education, I saw a street sweeper. But you know what the difference from the street sweepers there in London was the street sweepers here in St. Kitts. I said to Taddy, but look, the man with the broom, he's a white.
Yeah.
And
culture shock.
Shock. That was the first time I saw a street sweeper, a white
being
street
white.
sweeper. But
And garbage collectors being white.
Yeah. And then he said to me, that's for them because they're the ones who dirtied it up, so they're the ones who should clean it. And we hadn't had that in our Caribbean environment. But then that was the beginning of knowing that it's a brave new world out there, and we are doing. We have to struggle for survival and make it best of what you.
But that experience would have taught you to see people in a different prison, because from your experience, only black people you saw in your demographic doing that kind of job.
Yes, indeed.
You had the white person to be on such an elevation.
Well.
You can't be. It was a shock. You see white people cleaning the streets. So that was a whole shock.
Yes, indeed.
You know, it hit me the first time. Okay, okay. Well, that's part of the education of life.
Yes, indeed. And the shock was that back home, if any of the boys, because the school I went to, we had some white people there, and if they weren't doing well academically, you know, they could get a job as an overseer or supervisor.
But you could take that risk.
But I couldn't get it.
You can take that risk.
I know it wasn't available to me. So, but you know, so that was a good education.
Okay.
And for me.
At this point, we have to pause to give kudos to our sponsors, but we'll pick up the train of thought when we return. Mr. Engineer.
Enjoy an elevated experience with your Flow Home Internet and mobile combined.
Giving you the best rate for great savings.
With 120 gigs of double data for anything.
And unlimited talk.
On 4 mobile lines.
Simply combine your Flow Home Internet and mobile for the best rate and value. Unlock double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines to go with home internet speeds up to 35 megabits per second. Visit a Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
To our viewers and listeners, welcome back to another episode of Voices. My name is Socrates, and with us in the studio today is Dr. Samuel Rollins, and we're here to discuss his book entitled From
Shepherd Boy in the Frigate Bay Hills to Prominent World Scientist, and the autobiography of Samuel Rollins.
So you tended goats and sheep and cattle. You mentioned where you live, where you grew up. So how did you get to Frigate Bay and Connery? What happened to Bird Rock area in terms of grazing grounds?
Well, you know, that's an interesting question, because we didn't have, we had to drive the goats and sheep from Sandown Road.
Sandown Road, yes.
And drive them all the way. That road going, the Frigate Bay Road, wasn't there at the time. It was a dirt road going all the way. So we had to hurry home in the afternoons at 3:30, put on your rags, get the animals out, drive them out.
From school? Away from school?
Away from school.
Put on, you call it rags, but
yeah, yeah.
Was it close to what you had?
Yeah.
And you would have then to go to Connery or to Frigate Bay?
Through those, there used to be sugarcane fields all the way up there, along the present road, paved road and so on. But then we had to go all the way and drive them up the Connery Hill, over the hill, and then
into Frigate Bay.
Now you ask, why not the other places? Well, my mother had already the nutritional aspect of the vegetation wasn't quite so great
in the Bird Rock area.
Bird Rock area, and Bird Rock area, by the way, was sugarcane fields as well.
Oh,
it's very thoroughly in fact, St. Kitts was a
This is
very,
about the 1950s, you said?
I'm talking about the 50s, right?
50s.
Yeah. So by the time we would get them over into Connery, and then that was more nutritious for the
Grazing.
livestock
Okay,
grazing.
grazing areas.
And then until the sun dipped, and then we would bring them back here, reach back by about, just about to get dark, tired.
What?
And then you'll ask, what about the homework you do? Because the truth is, when you're in high school, you had to get into and to try to do some homework. Well,
It taught you time management.
Yeah.
You had to know time management because you get up in the morning, get a clean the yard, do your chores, etc., and get to school on time.
Yes, indeed. In fact, and I pity some of the young people now.
Today?
They got to find things
Activities?
find things for them to do. But in fact, activities.
They go on technical. They have cell phones and iPads and stuff like that. But you have that discipline
That is
of learning industry and time management that definitely helps you in your travels.
That was it. In fact, so that was the benefit of having this farm and the business of the dairy business, and I couldn't have asked for more. No, my mother though, she still had the corner shop and the dairy business going on. In fact, she had an objective that we had to get enough money to pay for high school for all these 6 children. No, my dad was a worker at the sugar factory, but well, he was in it as well, but he felt that we worked to work together. His was a staple salary coming in. He was very faithful. My father, there was never one day that my father wasn't with us, and I felt a bit pity for family life in St. Kitts.
You spoke about sacrifice. That was sacrifice epitomized.
Yeah, and he was really there and supporting, but my mother was the main driver.
Well, the Caribbean families, we were told, well, I believe that we were the world's greatest economists. We took almost nothing, and we built families from that.
That's correct. Well,
you spoke about not having the benefit of scholarship. There were only a few at the time, but you did what you had to do to get to the point of your life where you were able to go out there and make your parents proud.
Yes, indeed. And the thing about it is that and in the end, on reflection, we found that was a tremendous achievement. Now, it is true, most of the families when I was growing up in Eastern Bastia, they were mainly single parent families. So, but so there were just a few who had two people and two leaders in the home, and therefore we were beneficiary of that, of having both mother and father working together.
You also had a very strong family unit. You had the grandparents, you had the aunties, etc. to help to raise the children.
That is correct.
And so we still have that, and to some extent that is now being faded away. But your journey would have taken you from that platform that helped you to build and get a better understanding. Your mom says, we need to get your education, go forth.
Right.
So take us there now. You're on your book, it says you shared the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, when I came back,
you're the only person that I would have met who would have had that experience. I want to hear about that.
Yeah. Well, this has come after my experience when coming back to the Caribbean, having had university education in Britain. Then further studies at the University of the West Indies. I did a doctorate there, and then I went to I had a fellowship, International Atomic Energy Agency fellowship, which allowed me to go to Southern Texas to do a postdoctoral fellowship, and so I spent with my family little. They were young at the time, so we went there to Southern Texas. Spent 4 years in Southern Texas. Coming back to the University of the West Indies, I taught at medical school there for 8 years, 7 to 8 years.
Campus?
At UWI, at Mona campus.
Mona, yeah.
And then I went to work for the PAHO WHO. They recruited me, and then eventually. So now the question is that you asked, what about how this Nobel Peace Prize? what happened is that I started, although my work was mainly in infectious diseases, transmitting by vectors, insects like dengue fever, malaria, and all these other things that came on eventually. But I started working on climate change impacting on vectors and the organisms. Organisms are multiplying within the vectors like the various mosquitoes. And we worked somewhere on here, and we worked with the climate people at UNI Mona campus. And I was at the Caribbean Epidemiology Center in Trinidad. And so that was what was previously called the Regional Virus Laboratory. So I'd worked at that center there, and that was because I was employed by the PAHO. That was a fantastic experience. So I enjoyed working there because it was really useful, fulfilling for me.
Would you call it pioneering work?
Back one?
Would you call it pioneering work in view of what's happening around the world in terms of the climate change?
Yes, indeed. In fact, so at the end, when we started working, there wasn't anybody who was working on as far as climate change, any research going on, and that's what the research was happening. And we were researching how viruses are multiplying as the environment gets warmer. Viruses multiply within mosquitoes and increase the probability of transmitting of the disease. And this was impacting on our main industry too, because remember, the Caribbean by then had started becoming pushing for the hospitality industry. But the thing is, if we have tourists coming in our part of the world, and they think that there's a high probability, a high risk of them picking up dengue, malaria, etc.
It affects the economy.
Well, that might affect them. They might determine, well, I don't want to go there. I want to go to Hawaii, which might be something somewhat different. And
so that's fundamental work there.
Yeah. So we got involved in the climate change work, how warming of the environment is impacting on our
society
the environment. Now, in the end, we worked. I worked with a group called the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, and this was a worldwide thing. And that, in fact, took me virtually around the world, in the sense that I was, while most of our research was being done here in our Caribbean islands, going from Trinidad all the way up to, including St. Kitts, by the way. We had some data collected here in St. Kitts, all the way to Jamaica. And well, what we did, we also shared those information with the IPCC group, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change.
Yes.
So we had meetings here in their headquarters was in Vienna, but we also had meetings in Central America, South America, meetings we had meetings as far as Cairns in Australia, in East Africa, South Africa, and sharing this information. And this was good because we're meeting scientists from all around the world.
Yes.
Now, in 2007, the issue of climate change became so important, and
not to interrupt you.
Yes.
Someone just joined the program. He's asking who's the guest. So please, sir.
Oh yeah. Okay. Great. I'm Dr. Samuel Rawlins, and I'm a retired academic from the University of the West Indies. I worked at Mona and also in the University of the West Indies in St. Augustine, that is at the Mount Hope complex. And I worked for the PAHO WHO at the Caribbean Epidemiology Center. And that's where I spent most of my productive work. And so I have been able to meet with scientists from around the world.
But first, he's Newtown born and bred?
Yes, that's right.
Born up there in the vicinity of the, what's the name of the restaurant again?
Alfredo.
Alfredo's restaurant.
Alfredo's restaurant.
Yep. He used to tend goats from there, take his goat, sheep, and cow
and
over to Connery
and Frigate Bay. And
the name of the highway you spoke about, Frigate Bay Road, is called the John F. Kennedy Highway.
Really?
The Frigate Bay Road
Is that what his name?
Is officially the John F. Kennedy Highway.
I
A
never-
lot of folks don't know that.
Oh, well, what I know.
Is
I
it
know it as-
JFK Highway?
JFK. I know that as
You got the Frigate Bay Road because
Frigate Bay Road, yeah.
that's what we call it. So that was not accessible at the time you were taking your.
Oh no, that was dirt road. I mean,
Dirt road.
and we it was
And
very.
the whole of Bird
narrow.
Rock was cane field. We talk about the late 50s, etc., etc.
And all that road running all the way along there, going up towards the hills, they were really for the transport of sugarcane, lorries,
lorries,
and
okay.
tractors, and that sort of thing. And we used it for passing our animals, but when the cars and trucks would come, we got to go and drive them off the road so the cars and trucks could pass by. But
So the Jam said that was just to give you some background. That's who the gentleman is. I know you're impressed with his academia, and he's a shared Nobel Peace laureate. Not laureate, is it correct?
This is an example. This is a certificate here showing that in 2007, the year that Al Gore received half of the Nobel Peace Prize, the other half went to our group, the IPCC.
Okay.
And it was a large number of scientists, I'll give you that, large number of scientists who were working on the climate change issue. And there were about 6 of us from the Caribbean, 2 of us from Trinidad. I always let them know that I'm from St. Kitts.
Definitely.
And then two others from Trinidad, one from Jamaica and the Guyanese. So about 6 of us joined that eminent group of scientists in being mentioned and sharing the Nobel Peace Prize, the IPCC group in that at that
Okay.
time.
If anyone wishes to join us on the conversation, we have about 20 minutes left with Dr. Rollins. The numbers are 466-0989, 662-0989. Feel free to call us and engage the good doctor, and maybe can learn a bit more from him about his origins growing up and all his achievements, accomplishments. So, lines are open for anyone who wishes to join us. Dr. Rollins, Dr. Samuel Rollins. I have to say that because I often interview the other Dr. Rollins, your other half.
Yes, indeed.
Right? So we have 2 doctors on the same roof. Dr. Joan Rollins,
Yeah.
and she's been here many times. She is the president of the St. Kitts Nevis Alzheimer's Association.
Right.
And then we have her other half, the esteemed Dr. Samuel Rollins. The mic is yours, sir.
I don't know whether you can, if you want to show that, the
The camera, just focus on the camera.
the camera, and so this is the book, because I would like, it's such an interesting life that I've had, and I would like to recommend it that our people, that whoever would like to share the information and experiences, even growing up in St. Kitts, growing and living in the UK, then spend tremendous experience in the savannas in Guyana. I have spent about 4 years working there. Then working at the University of the West Indies, I spent another 4 years there. We had lovely times there. Living in southern Texas just for 3 years and coming back to the Caribbean. That's where the University of the West Indies, teaching at for about 7 to 8 years at medical school there. And eventually to the Caribbean Epidemiology Center. Oh, it was fantastic. But, I've always said that after these experiences that we've had, I would like to come back to live and make my final years in St. Kitts.
And so as part of giving back, you now lecture, you give
yes.
lessons to the high school students, speak about...
I give, whoever would like to hear me speak, I would like to share my experiences with them, because I believe other people could benefit from the experiences that I've been through. And so I share. And that's why I wrote this book, by the way. I really intended it to be written for my children and grandchildren. But then I thought, this thing of that tomorrow find us farther
Your
than
wife
today.
and you have the same mindset, because when she wrote her book, it was I have a copy of it. I had it last night in my hand with some chapters.
Yeah.
Awesome journey.
Well, I hope that you enjoy reading it. I enjoy reading myself, and I hope that our young people in particular could get a copy, read this book and see possibilities, and don't wait for somebody to come and get you to give you a position.
Well, the thing is,
Work
what you're
with it.
doing is showing them what's possible by relating your experience and your accomplishment, and it's always good to be able to identify with someone who you can say is from my country.
Right.
Not somebody from some big country who you have to look up to them. They have every right to look up to you because you're accomplished, but you are from here.
Right.
So you're giving them something to identify, someone to identify with, which is fundamentally important.
And if one person can do it, you can do it as well, and you can do it. You can do it because the world has opened up. So I listened to the government announcements of there's so many scholarships nowadays.
Yes.
And
back in the day, were like 8 for the entire region.
Right.
Per year.
For the what we call the presidency at the time. But now I think young people don't have any excuse because there's so many opportunities now.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to work. Still got to work for it. It's not going to come and fall in your lap. I was at the Caribbean Epidemiology Center. We had 21 member countries. 21 member countries. So what that meant is that I had to be dealing with them. So in others from where the center was located in Port of Spain, Trinidad.
Okay.
And then we were able to go from our southern countries, from Suriname and Guyana, and all the chain of islands going all the way up to Jamaica and into Central America, Belize. And that was that we'd be able to work there because all these Caribbean countries have similar problems, vector-borne diseases.
Mm-hmm.
All of them are economies based on tourism, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, if you have a outbreak, then we have to go and try to help these countries, the professionals, to contain it and prevent. And I know that your tourists are going to...
With the preventive measures are the most important.
Yes, indeed. And we were able to really enjoy and help work with one another in preventing these outbreaks. So we have had we've had tremendous experiences in doing this. I have here I hope that the average person can get this book because it's such an exciting.
Comes down to availability. You have to give your contacts and where it can be found.
Yes, and in fact, there's some lovely pictures in there to show what we did, how we managed, and how we succeeded in working. Now you said how it can be found. As I said, the Dr. Chatterton, Dr. Robertine Chatterton's bookshop in Greenlands has some of the books there.
For those who don't know, where exactly in Greenlands?
Greenlands is
along the main
no,
road?
You enter it from if you turn between Greenlands and the cemetery.
Yeah. So you have to go off the main on the second road there?
And then
I'm trying to get the exact location so people know.
And then you turn. It's called It's called the Greenlands Park. Greenlands Park.
I know where the park is.
Yeah. And her is a sign showing the bookshop, Dr. Robertine Chatterton's bookshop. And
up on the park, on the second road, on the main?
On the second road.
On the second road.
When you turn into on the park itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the park.
Okay. The Mr. The engineer saying that he know where it is. It's on the park itself.
Yes,
so thanks for that.
However, if you want to get a copy of the book, you just call me. My number is. I take the liberty to advertise my number 663-0615. Sam Rollins 663-0615, and you call me and I'll bring the book to you because I'm so keen on sharing the experience. It's not about the money. I'm just sharing the book with you and your experiences.
Will there be a copy at the library?
Yeah, yes. When we launched the book about 3 months ago, the copy was given to the public library.
Yes.
And at the University of the West Indies as well, their library as well, they had a copy of the book there. So the book is available.
So for those students who are at those campuses, they can actually access the book and read up on it? Okay,
indeed.
it's important to have the information.
Yes, indeed. So I hope that the young persons would pick up on this and go and read it and see how you can turn your life into successful. Okay. You see, when I was growing up, when I went to university, they told me that this vector-borne disease which I work with, say malaria. Malaria killed more people than, at the time, we hadn't heard about HIV, we hadn't heard about COVID or anything like that.
Here's what, Doc. Hold that thought on those comments. We're going to go downtown one more time. And when we come back, it's all yours.
Yeah.
Just pick up where you live with the malaria and the HIV and how you work, whatever, and practice that. So we go to Caesar to give him his due.
Okay.
Enjoy an elevated experience with your Flow Home Internet and mobile combined.
Giving you the best rate for great savings.
With 120 gigs of double data for anything.
And unlimited talk.
On 4 mobile lines.
Simply combine your Flow Home Internet and mobile for the best rate and value. Unlock double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines to go with home internet speeds up to 35 megabits per second. Visit a Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
It's October, and the TDC Home and Building Depot has gone pink in support of breast cancer awareness. Shop in-store or online for our pink tag specials with up to 75% off selected items. And be sure to look out for our Flash Sales Fridays, where you get even more savings. Plus, every Saturday from 10 a.m. till 12 p.m., our team of health professionals will be in-house, offering free breast screening and the chance to win a free mammogram. So this October, remember to think pink. Think TDC Home and Building Depots. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details.
Magnum. Take charge, take charge, take charge, take charge, take charge, take. Everybody put a Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, let me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Hot Magnum when me have in a me hand there. Here a sipper, she tell me sweet. Look for me watch for your quick time check. Yeah, yeah. Right now a Magnum a for your beat. Enjoy yourself every day of the week with a Magnum. My life I forget sweeter. Must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink responsibly.
We're in the studios of WinFM 98.9 on the FM dial. It's another episode of Voices, and we engage in a very scintillating conversation with Dr. Samuel Rollins. I'm very, very much impressed with this gentleman. And one of the questions I want to ask you, if you know of anyone here at the campuses who are taking up the studies that you would have embarked on. But in the meantime, you were talking about malaria and HIV at the point when HIV was emerging and how your work was impacting it. So please continue.
Yeah, I would like to say that when I first graduated from university, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, throughout the tropics of the world, malaria was a disease that was being and is still being transmitted, because we would like to have have a transmission arrested, but because we thought we would get a vaccine for it. Now, recently, vaccine is on everybody's tongue, after COVID. But, we've been working so long for a vaccine for dengue, for example. Dengue is something that affects every Caribbean country. And vaccine for malaria, numbers of cases have dropped somewhat. But I tell you, it used to be a killer for children in the first decade of life, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. So malaria still is killing people. The only thing is that we've been distracted with other issues. So, and my idea was, could I be the man who's going to be bringing this cure or prevention or vaccine for the world? Now, when I first went to Centers for Disease Control in Fort Collins, Colorado, they said, this is 1987. So what about the vaccine? Let's work at a vaccine for dengue fever. They say, oh, the vaccine is just around the corner.
Just around the corner.
Yeah. but it's not there yet.
It's not there yet.
You see, it's not so easy. So when we had the COVID...
Is there lack of funding?
Well, I don't know whether emphasis hasn't been on some,
Emphasis,
because
that's the
remember,
right
it's
word.
a tropical thing. They haven't spent so much emphasis on it. But I think they've tried, but it's not so easy. It's a sort of virus that's has about 4 serotypes: dengue type 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that's been causing, has made it difficult to get a vaccine which is going to be effective against dengue.
All the strains.
Once you're exposed to more than one strain, then you increase the probability of getting dengue hemorrhagic fever. So it's not so easy to do. But the thing is, there is still the challenge that one has to try to control these vector-borne diseases.
Yes.
Our and I know that, as I said, in the Caribbean and in the towards the tropics, we need, since we're inviting guests, first of all, we got to think about ourselves. We want to protect ourselves from these various infections. But then, in addition to that, we have our guests that we are bringing, we're welcoming here, and so that is only common sense.
Matter of time?
Yes, matter of time and common sense for us to attack these, and we can't say that we want to make sure that we want to eliminate them from our region. So that's. But as I said, things like malaria cases have been reduced significantly in the Caribbean islands. We don't have any malaria
and your
being
work
transmitted.
has directly or indirectly contributed to that.
Yes, because we've studied the what's and it's a work of a lot of people. Has been. I don't want to take it all for myself, but we have it's been significantly reduced in our part of the world. Mainland countries like Ghana, Suriname, we still have malaria there, but dengue is still an issue in our region.
You described yourself a bit earlier as being retired, but isn't your work somewhat still in demand?
Oh yes, I still get it.
I would say, sorry, your expertise.
Yeah.
Isn't your expertise still in demand?
I still have the request to be as a consultant to the PAHO, for example, and in fact, so the Caribbean through the PAHO, we still have. I'm still writing manuals and training period for some of these for the countries. And some
excuse me, are the lines working? We have people say that they've called only 3 times. They're not getting in the conversation. Yeah, Dr. Rollins, if you care to try again, please. We would love to hear from you. But stage called 3 times, but not getting it. Continue.
And then some of my students, I've had quite a few students, like doctoral students. One in particular, she was working with me on insecticide resistance patterns in dengue vectors. Now she's now she was until recently she was the in charge, the representative of the PAHO in Barbados for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean. I'm talking about Dr. Karen Paulson, and she's now gone to Washington.
We got a call? Okay, we may get a call before we get to the close of the first step. Got about 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
So caller, please try to get in on the conversation.
And then we have quite a few.
Hi, can you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Hi. It's Joan Rollins here, calling in. I was trying a long time to get in. Anyway, I was hoping that some of Sam's friends, persons who perhaps lived in Newtown when he was a young person, that they would have called in just to say that they remember him and that he was in class with them or something like that. So I was a little bit disappointed that none of his erstwhile friends or persons he knew in his youth had called in.
Well, maybe like you, they've been trying, but the lines were, a problem.
That's right. They could have been trying. But anyway, while I am on the line as
Please,
the
yes.
other half of his household, so to speak, I wanted to ask our public if he feels that the children were influenced in any way, our children were influenced in any way by his career, and what does he think they really learned from his experience, his own children?
Great question. He's blushing, but let's go, sir. Go ahead.
All right, I'll listen offline. Okay.
Thank you very much, Doc, for your contribution.
Well, our children certainly would have been influenced by it, but I hope other children too, because our children we have two who are physicians, and they have been. I think they follow. Earlier, I tried to encourage them to go in the line of work. They became physicians, but then the other type of one is OBGYN and one is a gastroenterologist. But I think, though, there's so many young people that has come under my influence. And as I was saying, I was talking about Dr. Karen Polson, and she became vector-borne specialist as well as like me. And she's now working for the WHO, and her office is in Washington.
Okay.
I could also think of some other people in Guyana who did doctoral degrees with me with malaria management, etc. So we've had a tremendous impact on young persons, and I just want to think everybody touches somebody else, and that really cheers me up. Then I feel that my life is not just about me, but that it has been impacting other people's lives.
In order to impact some more, I want to give once again the information about the availability of the book, where you can perform, etc. You got about 3 minutes to use that time to sell. When I say sell the book, it's about sharing your experience.
Yeah. Yes.
So people need to know where to get one more time, please.
Yeah, I just want to encourage you to share the experiences which are recorded in the book, from shepherd boy in the Frigate Bay Hills to prominent world scientist, and so how we started struggle and hardship, and yet we've reached to the sort of high places in world science, so and medical sciences in particular, and so I want you to get the book and the experiences that we've had, both in academia, research, and service provision, and how we are able to impact on the challenges, especially climate-related vector-borne diseases, and this has been tremendous. This has been very effective in this respect.
I continue.
And so the book is available at Dr. Chatterton's bookshop in Greenlands. And also, if you would like to get a copy, call me at 663-0615. Of course, our area code is 869-663-0615, and I'll gladly supply you with a copy of the book. It's not expensive. I mean, I think it's good about. It's about.
I would say it would be a very enriching experience.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have to look at the dollar value. You have to pay. It's the enrichment of the experience or what you're sharing.
Yes,
and I want to thank you tremendously for coming on the program and sharing with us what you have this morning. I've learned so much from you, and I believe the folks that you're speaking to at the school level, they too must be inspired. These copies of these are available at the UWI Center and all that?
Yes, at the UWI, and also at the public library.
Public library.
At the CFPC.
Dr. Samuel Rollins, and his book is entitled once again?
It's called From Shepherd Boy in the Frigate Bay Hills to Prominent World Scientist. And we have a nice picture here showing the Nobel Peace Prize.
There's a handsome picture of yourself. You forgot to mention that. Well, it's a pleasure, and I would like, as your wife suggested, if you can get another chance where your friends who you grew up with can call in and engage in conversations about those days, because importance for not only from a historical context, but for people to see how we grew up, etc., etc.
Right.
A lot of other loss in our current the society in terms of the discipline and the industry you learned as a child. and how we learn time management, because you still had to get to school on time.
Right.
And I have no doubt that these disciplines impacted your successes around the world. It's been a pleasure.
Indeed.
Right?
It's been a pleasure talking with you today, and I hope other people's lives will be impacted by these information. But also, if you read the book, and I'm sure you'll be blessed by it.
And I believe this program has been recorded, and it can be accessed. Is it what's the Win Media SKN on YouTube platform? So this can be viewed on Facebook. It can be viewed later on. See if you share information. Is it Win Media SKN on YouTube platform? And they log on to. Once you go to channel, this episode Voices with Dr. Rollins, so they can still see it. Okay.
Okay, great. Well, I'm so
In the meantime, I want us to come on to Mallet. He used to be called Hammer. Now he used to be Hammer. He used to be Mallet, now he's Hammer. And Melvin Edwards over there in St. Lucia enjoying some wonderful time with Chris Collins. And he just sent me this to the listening. So you guys listen after the news headline. I'm going to release the first calypso for the season on Voices on Win FM. Okay, so stay tuned over in St. Lucia. Have a great time. They actually will listen to the program. So, because it's a hi to Melvin Edwards, and these are academics from St. Kitts who now living in St. Lucia, and his brother, right? So, are we ready for midday newscast? Okay, so we now break for the midday newscast, and we'll see you guys on the other side of the news interlude, okay? Thank you so very much.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and the ICDF Taiwan Technical Mission.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tilly Wall with a low reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Delia Walwyn, people you can trust.
Think before you bin it. There can be some use in it. The St. Kitts and Nevis Solid Waste Management, in collaboration with Taiwan ICDF Technical Mission and the Department of Environment, presents Let's Recycle. We are encouraging all residential homes, commercial businesses, and schools to bring along your plastic bottles, metal cans, and aluminum cans, ready for an opportunity to win big. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every second and fourth Tuesday each month at the following locations in St. Kitts: the Connery Roundabout, every first and and third Tuesday at Buckley's parking lot in front of Best Buy, and the last Saturday of each month in Dip Bay. In Nevis, every second and fourth Friday of each month at Delta Petroleum, Ex-Petrol in Camps, Big Six in Gingerland, and Old Artisan Village in Charlestown. But wait, that's not all. 1 pound equals 1 point. So bring your recyclables and build up your points for a chance to win stainless steel thermal bottle, flatware set, and much more. To learn more about the recycling project, do visit our Facebook page at Let's Recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis, or contact us at 465-2372. The choice is yours. Save it or waste it. You are the difference. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
With the WIN headline news, I am Kevon Brown. Making the headlines, St. Kitts Nevis Prime Minister delivers maiden speech at a 72nd meeting of OECS Authority. The overarching theme, expansion of regional integration. United Nations to vote on Haitian resolution to send military forces to aid the country as it grapples with growing unrest. More than 100 Haitians and Dominicans land on an uninhabited island off the coast of Puerto Rico on their way to the U.S. mainland. Internationally, a retired military commander says Taiwan would be unable to resist the use of force by an increasingly assertive China. Now, the details. The 72nd meeting of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States Authority was hosted in the associate member state Montserrat on October 19th. The chairmanship was handed over to the Premier of Montserrat, the Honorable Easton Taylor Farrell. The outgoing chairman was past Grenada Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Dr. Keith Mitchell. At the opening ceremony of the 72nd meeting of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States Authority, the emerging theme was regional integration, a cornerstone of the OECS and the revised Treaty of Basseterre 2010, which made provisions for an economic union among the member states. Didicus Jules, the Director General of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, says the meetings are a testament to the region's vision.
The big lesson from these past 2 years of adversity is that the future cannot be taken for granted, that the opportunities of the present should not be overlooked, and the lessons of the past should never be forgotten. While it is indisputable that we have been buffeted by crisis after crisis and disaster after disaster as unrelenting waves of catastrophe over which we have no control, it is also true that we cannot ascribe all of this to forces beyond us. We must take stock of our own sins of omission and our failure to do the things that are not just possible, but necessary to build resilience.
The Director General said the current global challenges provide the region with bold transformation opportunities. Quote, a chance to go faster, do better, be bolder, and be stronger together, end quote. Jules outlined 5 strategic priorities and their cross-cutting themes that would be the focus of the meeting to be tackled by the member states over 6 years.
Accelerating regional integration, reinventing the economy, valuing the environment, building resilience, advancing equity and inclusion. Cross-cutting themes undergirding these priorities include youth empowerment, partnerships, gender equity, and innovation. There are some initiatives that are already addressing these priorities. We are sure that even without its detailed definition, the public street, the citizen in the street, as well as persons of all persuasions and strata, after having experienced the concurrent crises of the past 5 years, can intuitively understand how these priorities interact and intersect. None of these priorities can be fully achieved without each contributing to the other.
One critical area is the issue of air, sea, and internet connectivity, 3 highways that will enable regional integration to assume meaning and deliver tangible benefits to the OECS. Jules said several proposals are on the table for resolution, and he said he was confident that regional travel would make a comeback.
This situation is an opportunity to create a network for travel. Imagine what affordable and reliable air and sea connectivity linking the entire chain of the archipelago can do for school excursions, festival and fete followers, hucksters and small traders, entrepreneurs doing business in the single economic space. Free and constant movement in our regional space invigorates our economies in the same way that we are told physical movement benefits our bodies.
Grenada's Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell reaffirmed his country's commitment to regional integration, outlining the global situation, a pandemic, tensions between countries, and climate change as an opportunity to look inward to the region and work on strengthening as one region.
Colleagues, if ever there was a time to band together as small island nations, this is the time. These global events notwithstanding, the ills that they have brought have also left us with a clarity of purpose and an opportunity, indeed an urgency, to leverage our regional integration movement more optimally. Increasingly, the global economy asks of us, as small states, to compete equally with countries and regions many times our size. The collective population within our economic union of approximately 620,000 people, while still smaller than local towns of some developed and developing countries, provides us with exponentially greater opportunities for economic advancement. A renewed commitment to accelerate the implementation of the Eastern Caribbean Economic Union is at this time essential and must be seen equally as part of the menu of national policy responses to our development challenges.
The Grenadian Prime Minister said the region has yet to truly capitalize on the intra-OECS trading goods and services and the developmental opportunities to be derived from the intra-OECS investments to ease financial transactions, such as setting up bank accounts, purchasing land, and accessing immovable assets, which he says are urgently needed. St. Kitts and Nevis's Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Michael Drew, Minister of Finance, National Security, Citizenship and Immigration, Health and Social Security, gave his maiden address to the OECS Authority. In his speech, the Prime Minister says that while the OECS has achieved gains in regional integration, the body should seek to expand regional integration.
And I urge us to take the subject of joint representation to a higher level and make the necessary decisions to enable us to reap the rewards to be derived from this increased level of engagement. It is difficult for us to achieve our development objectives if we ignore the challenges posed by the proverbial elephant in the room, glaring gaps in our interregional transportation sector. An efficient and sustainable transportation system will yield benefits for investment, trade, and movement of people, 2 pillars of our regional integration movement.
The 76th meeting of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the 76th meeting of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States Authority, is hosted in Montserrat from October 19th through 20th. In regional news, United Nations to vote on Haitian resolution to send military forces to aid the country as it grapples with growing unrest. More than 100 Haitians and Dominicans land on an uninhabited island off the coast of Puerto Rico on their way to the U.S. mainland. Those reports and more from Carib Update.
The United Nations Security Council is expected to vote Wednesday afternoon on a resolution that would demand an immediate end to violence and criminal activity in Haiti and impose sanctions on influential gang leader Jimmy Cherizier, nicknamed Barbecue. The resolution would also impose sanctions on other Haitian individuals and groups who engage in actions that threaten the peace, security, or stability of the Western Hemisphere's poorest country, according to the final draft obtained by the Associated Press. Council diplomats said the 10-page draft resolution was put in blue, a final form that can be voted on late Tuesday, with a vote to be held Wednesday afternoon. They spoke on condition of anonymity ahead of an official announcement. Still in Haiti, NGOs operating in Haiti warn that the chaos engulfing the country has become so total and the social fabric so torn that the country is on the verge of collapse as discussions continue at the UN Security Council on how to restore order. Haitians are currently facing a series of overlapping crises that are becoming deadlier by the day as heavily armed gangs continue to blockade the country's principal port and fuel terminal. The country is also experiencing its worst hunger in history as a deadly outbreak of cholera spreads and armed gangs increasingly targeting women and children with sexual violence as a form of warfare. More than 100 Haitians and Dominicans landed on an uninhabited island of Puerto Rico's western coast Tuesday, the latest group to attempt to reach the American territory, a gateway for undocumented immigrants to the United States. U.S. Customs and Border Protection spokesperson Jeffrey Quinones told the Miami Herald that a boat dropped off the migrants at a tiny nature reserve called Isla de Mona and then took off. The migrants likely arrived early morning, he added, and are believed to have departed from the Dominican Republic. The group of migrants includes at least 102 Haitians and 2 Dominicans, Quinones said, and there were children on board. Several of the 63 female passengers traveling on board were pregnant. There were 41 male passengers. The Biden administration will provide $2 million to Cuba for emergency relief efforts following Hurricane Ian, the State Department said. The government of Cuba made a rare request for aid from Washington in September after Hurricane Ian knocked out power to the entire island of 11 million people, killed 3 people, and drove thousands from their homes. State Department spokesperson Ned Price said in a statement that the United States will work with independent organizations to provide the aid. U.S. President Joe Biden has promised to re-engage with Cuba after years of tensions between Havana and Washington, but Cuba's crackdown following widespread protests on the island last July led instead to sanctions on Cuban officials. Cuba's Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez said on Twitter, and we quote, "We appreciate humanitarian assistance offer made by the U.S." unquote.
We now bring you these international reports.
A retired military commander has told the BBC Taiwan would be unable to resist the use of force by an increasingly assertive China. It follows a warning by the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken that Beijing is pursuing unification on a much faster timeline than previously thought. Our correspondent Rupert Wingfield-Hayes has been to the Taiwanese island of Jinmen to assess the growing threat.
The island of Jinmen is so close to China, they used to blast anti-communist propaganda from giant speakers to people living on the Chinese coast. Twice in the last 70 years, China has tried to cross the narrow straits. The island is still a fortress covered in tunnels, bunkers and lookouts. Retired Colonel Chen Shuicai says today it would be completely different. Now it's the opposite, he says. The gap between China's military power and Taiwan's is getting bigger and bigger. Their military power is getting stronger and stronger. If Xi Jinping is determined to use military force, then Taiwan can't stop them. In July, Taiwan put on this huge military drill. It's aimed to show how well prepared the island is to fend off a Chinese attack. Instead, critics say it showed how vulnerable Taiwan's forces are to a bigger, more modern, more heavily armed foe. One of the fiercest critics is the man who used to command Taiwan's armed forces.
If we remain unchanged, we will be defeated, certainly. No doubt about it. I urge the government, you got to take action. You have to take the action right now. We don't have time to consider or research or study it again and again. The time is not on our side.
Man down, man down, man down! Admiral Lee is not the only one to feel the sense of urgency. thousands of civilians are joining training programs to learn how to fight if war comes. Jay Lai has done his military service, but he says it taught him nothing about real fighting.
No, we didn't learn anything about the rifle or gun, no. But you learn about concept. But I never touched a gun in 11 months.
When you live with a threat so close for so long, it's easy to become complacent, to believe it won't happen. But as Admiral Lee put it to me, no country can rely on the kindness of its enemy. Rupert Wingfield-Hayes, BBC News in Taiwan.
Russia's president is imposing martial law in the 4 regions Moscow annexed from Ukraine. Vladimir Putin is also giving additional emergency powers to the heads of all regions of Russia. This comes after Russia's military suffered major defeats in a counteroffensive by Ukrainian forces in September. The Russian army has admitted that it is facing a very difficult situation in the southern region of Kherson as Kyiv pushes to retake the area. Thousands of civilians there are being evacuated.
Let me remind you that in the territories of the Donetsk People's Republic, the Luhansk People's Republic, as well as the Zaporizhia and Kherson regions, martial law was in effect before they joined Russia. Now we need to formalize this regime already within the framework of the Russian legislation. Therefore, I signed a decree on the introduction of martial law in these 4 entities of the Russian Federation. It will be immediately sent to the Federation Council for approval.
Mohammad Jamjoom is in the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv. But first, let's go to Mohammad Val in Moscow. Mohammad, is it fair to say these moves reflect the increasing pressure the Russian military is feeling?
There is no doubt, Cyril, that the Russians are preparing for a new phase, a new mood, a new mode of action in eastern and southern Ukraine after the weeks of defeats that everybody has seen, and the Russians are unhappy with that. The leadership has been preparing these things here. We have seen the appointment of Sergei Surovikin, who was head of the operation in Syria, and he's known for his tough-handedness in these types of situations. And we have seen the new campaign of airstrikes across Ukraine after the bridge explosion some days ago. So all of these come together, and this declaration of martial laws today has been awaited as one of the measures that the Russians are expecting, at least at the highest levels of decision-making, expecting to show that the leadership has more measures to take, more action to take, and has not come to the limitations or the limits of what it can do in this war. They want to reverse the situation that's going on in the east and south of Ukraine. They want to prove to their people here that they can gain victory in this war. So a special council for coordination is going to be set up, and vast powers given to the local governors, pro-Russian governors. And also martial law means that the military can do most of what they couldn't do in the past under the law. They can restrict movements of people. They can force people into mobilization. This is no longer a partial mobilization, particularly in those 4 regions. And even the industry that has been, like civilian industries, will be probably oriented towards military industries and production to help the military. Everything from now on will be used to serve the purpose of victory in this war. And also, we don't know what else can be done in terms of the type of weapons, the type of tactics that they are going to follow to make a difference on the ground.
Mohammad Val reporting from Moscow. Thank you very much. Russia says
Acute kidney injury has caused the death of almost 100 children in Indonesia so far this year, a health ministry official said on Wednesday. A team of experts is investigating the spike in cases, which comes as Gambia's government probes the death of 70 children from acute kidney injuries, or AKI. The Gambia fatalities were linked to paracetamol syrups used to treat fever, which contained excessive levels of diethylene glycol and ethylene glycol. However, officials at Indonesia's Food and Drink Agency insisted those products were not available locally. adding that the ingredients they were made of had been banned from all child medicinal syrups sold in the country. Although the link to paracetamol syrup has not been proven, parent Widdy Demarianti is concerned.
I also have a small child, a 2-year-old, and if this is fatal for my child, I'd rather have it stopped. What I know is that now it isn't just impacting children's cough syrup. Adult cough syrup has also temporarily gone off the shelves. It's feared that this could affect adults too, as I'm aware because I also work in a pharmacy.
As of October 18th, Indonesian authorities have identified 206 cases of AKI among children, with 99 fatalities, Health Ministry spokesperson Muhammad Sirahil told a press conference in Jakarta.
As a preventive measure, the ministry has asked all health workers in all health facilities to temporarily stop prescribing or providing any liquid or syrup medication until our research and investigation are completed.
The ministry has purchased specialist medicines for AKI to address the spike, he added. Local health and paediatrics officials and World Health Organization representatives are investigating the rise in fatalities in consultation with the WHO experts investigating the cases in Gambia.
Madagascar's President, Andry Rajoelina, has fired his Foreign Affairs Minister for voting at the United Nations against Russia's annexation of regions in Ukraine, two sources at the President's office have said. Last Wednesday, Richard Randriamandrato was among those who voted overwhelmingly to condemn the Russian-organised referendums in 4 partially occupied Ukrainian regions.
Territorial integrity of Ukraine.
The two senior officials told Reuters that Randriamandrato was sacked because of his support for the motion. Randriamandrato declined to comment. 143 countries in the 193-member General Assembly backed the resolution, which also affirmed the sovereignty, independence, unity and territorial integrity of Ukraine. Until last week, Madagascar has always abstained during various votes on resolutions related to the crisis. The government has spoken of neutrality and non-alignment on the subject. Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which it calls a special military operation, has put some African countries in an awkward diplomatic position. Many have a complicated history of relations with both the West and the former Soviet Union, as well as important economic ties to Russia. 18 of the 35 countries to abstain on last week's vote were African.
You were listening to the WinFM Headline News on 98.9. Our top stories were: St. Kitts Nevis Prime Minister delivers maiden speech at a 72nd meeting of OECS Authority. The overarching theme, expansion of regional integration. United Nations to vote on Haitian resolution to send military forces to aid the country as it grapples with growing unrest. More than 100 Haitians and Dominicans land on an uninhabited island off the coast of Puerto Rico on their way to the U.S. mainland. Internationally, a retired military commander says Taiwan would be unable to resist the use of force by an increasingly assertive China. Thank you for listening.
That was the WinFM Headline News. The Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and the ICDF Taiwan Technical Mission.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Think before you bin it. There can be some use in it. The Nevis Solid Waste Management Authority, in collaboration with Taiwan ICDF Technical Mission and the Department of Environment, presents Let's Recycle. We're encouraging all residential homes, commercial businesses, and schools to bring along your plastic bottles, metal cans, and aluminum cans, ready for an opportunity to win big. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the following locations: in Nevis, every second and fourth Friday of each month at Delta Petroleum, ex-Petrol in Camps, Big Six in Gingerland, and the Old Artisan Village in Charlestown. In St. Kitts, every second and fourth Tuesday at the Connery Roundabout, every first and third Tuesday at Buckley's parking lot in front of Best Buy, and the last Saturday of each month in Dieppe Bay. But wait, that's not all. 1 pound equals 1 point. So bring your recyclables and build up your points for a chance to win stainless steel thermal bottles, flatware, and much more. To learn more about the recycling project, do visit our Facebook page at Let's Recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis, or contact us at 465-2372. The choice is yours. Save it or waste it. You are the difference. So think smart. Take PAT, reduce, reuse, recycle.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Till you walk with a low reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we've got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Delia Walwyn, people you can trust.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Horsford's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less and save more. How, you ask? Essential Everyday and Equaline. Spend less on our Essential Everyday products and get the best quality, the best taste, and the best value. Spend less for all your family health and beauty needs with the Equaline brand of over-the-counter products. Horsford's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less. With our Essential Everyday products and Equaline over-the-counter health and beauty care products. Shop smart and spend less at Value Mart, where price matters most.
At 35 minutes past the hour, we're still in the luncheon interludes We want to welcome all the listeners and viewers back to the second half of Voices. My name is Socrates, host of today's program, and it's a beautiful Wednesday up there. I checked a short while ago. It's kind of a nice breeze blowing, so it's down to Ambassador. It is beautiful. But I want to start the second half of Voices today with the release of what I believe is the first Calypso of the 2022 Calypso season. It's done by Navigator, and I hope he's listening. The background vocalist is his 11-year-old daughter. But I want to send this song out to Chris Collins, Mallet, Melvin Edwards over there in St. Lucia, logged on to the program, to Amber in Anguilla, to Rosemary up there in New York, to Jennifer in Atlanta, to all the folks, of course, logged on to Voices, the first Calypso for the 2022 Carnival season, entitled Home Sweet Home.
So you come back home for a vacation. Let me know you love this land. Posing with your flag, I hear you boast and brag. You love this land too bad. Next day you on a plane, continue in the brain drain, claiming the salary too small for you to live here. While the Chinese, the Guyanese, Jamaicans and Dominicans moving while you're contributing elsewhere.
Home sweet home.
While I understand the need for migration,
Home sweet home.
and free movement in the region, your home sweet home becoming someone else.
Home sweet home.
So you fly into vote, you claim to rescue the country. Then you fly out to build the next man's economy, while foreigners making your land of beauty their home sweet home. Has it occurred to you that your land of beauty need your helping hand, and that we could make this your land of opportunity by working as one? You say you're contributing from other land to our nation building, and that is your plan. Well, I hope you plan to hold a deed, a piece of land in your hand, before you come home to find it all gone.
Home sweet home.
While I understand the need for migration,
Home sweet home.
and free movement in the region, your home sweet home becoming someone else.
Home sweet home.
So you fly into vote, you claim to rescue your country. Then you fly out to build the next man's economy. Well, foreigners making your land of beauty their home sweet home. Some while seeking other nationalities, as is their choice, insist that with things happening locally, they demand a voice. Well, do what you got to do. It's a free country. If building an X-man land works for you, but don't be surprised when you realize while hustling out there, others coming in to take your share.
Home sweet home.
While I understand the need for migration,
Home sweet home.
and free movement in the region, your home sweet home becoming someone else.
Home sweet home.
So you fly into vote, you claim to rescue the country. foreigners making your land of beauty be a home, sweet home. Not questioning your patriotism, I believe you love this land with an undying passion, but try and understand you can't serve God and man. So you can bash those who are moving in here while you seek your gold and riches elsewhere. I know everyone cannot stay, but when the cats are away, bet your life the mouse will come out to play.
Home sweet home.
While I understand the need for migration,
Home sweet home.
and free movement in the region, your home sweet home, becoming someone else.
Home sweet home.
So you fly into boat, you claim to rescue the country. Then you fly out to build the next man's economy, while foreigners making your land of beauty be a home
sweet home.
First release, I believe, of Calypso for the 2022 season. And Chris Collins over there in St. Lucia is loving it. I just had a remark, a comment from Jamster, which disappeared. So, yes, the phone lines are open. And let's talk Calypso, let's talk Carnival. In a few short weeks from now, the Legends Tent will open on the 3rd of November at the former Potentials. And we'll be kicking things. I think Wingover is gearing up to release also sometime soon. So we are just trying to get everybody in the spirit of Carnival. And you would have heard it first here on Win FM 98.9. So, give me a call. 466-0989, 662-0989. Let me see what Johnson said now. Somebody says, as a potential member of the judges' pool, they should not comment on the song, but it's a great song. Beautiful. I'm expecting a call from Navigator, so hope you can call and give us some more information on that production. The lines are open, 466-0989, 662-0989, and tell Mr. Mallet to turn to the hammer. He's a former national reigning Calypso monarch. We know him here as a Mallet. He's now taking up duties in St. Lucia. And I believe he's Mr. Witty. I ain't so smart. He believes he's the most witty Calypsonians the Federation ever produced. But we shall find out later on when the other songs for the 22 Sugar Mass 51 are released. So, Mallet, the hammer, thank you for your contribution to the development of culture in St. Kitts via Calypso and your many contributions. Mr. Ambassador Melvin Edwards, you're in good company. In terms of Chris Collins, thanks for your contribution over the many years, and thanks for logging on to the program. Give me a call if you can, guys. Let's talk Calypso, let's talk Carnival, let's talk any topic. It's now the open mic session. Right? And we have a caller. We go straight to the phone lines. Call your live on Voices.
Yeah, pleasant good afternoon, my brother. How you doing, sir?
Not too bad for an old man. Welcome to the areas of Win FM 98.9. What's up? What's going on?
Yeah, man. It's a pleasure listening, and I'm impressed by the production you just played there.
Okay.
I must say, thanks to God Almighty for bringing me thus far.
Is this Navigator?
Yes.
Man, big up yourself, man. You have to identify yourself for your fans. I am the awesome Navigator. Repeat after me. I am the awesome Navigator.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Can you speak up or get closer to your phone? I'm hardly hearing you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
A little better, yes.
Okay, yes. First of all, I want to big up, God Almighty for giving me the strength.
Definitely.
Energy thus far. Yeah. And I want to say thank you, too, for the production there. It's quite awesome indeed. from the moment we start working on it, about somewhere in the first week in September.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pleasure working with you. And I would like to give kudos to my 12-year-old daughter as well, too, who, you know, wonderfully for the first time put her vocals on the works, you know, so, you know.
Walk us through that process, how it happened. Walk us through that process.
You know, we was really speaking and hanging to get a backup vocals. I tried to call a cousin of mine, but somehow she wasn't available. And I said, wait, Sakura, I have a little daughter who is 12 years old, you know, and she can make any professional singer look like an amateur.
You're bragging, man. You're boastful. You're proud dad.
Yeah, she just take up them voices and just twist them and turn them to put them.
I hear you.
You know, so I really got her brother to bring her to the studio, and we went straight to work.
Mm-hmm.
And when you gave her those different tones and melodies that she had to mix and blend down.
But she was saying she can't do it.
Yes.
You put her on the spot. She's never done that before.
Never done. And she was so shy.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, Daddy, you know. And when she started working, she even impressed me. I almost cried.
Yeah, that's something. You're supposed to cry and impress the young lady. If she impress you, you're supposed to cry and impress her also.
So yes, I'm saying, man, in the future time, I'm having any, you know, background vocals to do. She's the person, you know. And I hope that she could get a little training and that voice and get a little more experience in this studio so she could be comfortable at what she's doing.
Well, she recorded it to take it to school because when she got the harmony of it, and it sounded great, she recorded it and took it to school so her peers could hear her. So it's a very, very good thing. Very first time experience. When you called her, she had no idea what she was coming for. It was a bit kind of ticked off. Daddy did it, but so we said that by way of saying that her vocals may not have been 100%. It was a first-time experience, and I love the fact that she was working with her father, so he actually made history. I think it's the first time, I ain't talk too much, father and daughter was able to do a studio production. 12 years old. You're older like Methuselah, so don't want to go but it was great. And I believe it's the first release for the 2022 Carnival Sugar Mass 51 season. And, of course, you're the first year on Win FM. So, according to Chris Collins, which went what on he and Mallet and Melvin over there tell him come home. What are your thoughts on the song?
Well, my thoughts, it's tremendous. And, you see, your own is the best.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how much you compare something with the other thing. Whatever you have in your possession, it is better than anybody else's. And you just have to understand that. Because we can maybe go to maybe as far as London, Europe, Tokyo, China and find opportunities. But when it comes to the come true, your home is the best. Home sweet home.
Well, my song is called A Double Slice of Paradise, you know what I mean? And that's what we have here. You know, when it comes to homegrown production, I love my yard fowl. Keep all your foreign chicken, give me my yard fowl. They break up my teeth. I'm sticking local.
So true, so true.
So you're set for the competition? First, are you competing or just doing a 10th appearance? Which is it?
I'm not too sure. I was trying to get some clarification, but I haven't get any answers yet. But I'm ready.
Clarification from who? You're the one who have to determine if you're competing or just doing a 10th appearance.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you asked if our 10th is ready as yet.
Me ain't gonna get into your business like that. I asked if you're competing or you just doing a 10th appearance.
I'm ready. Yes, I will. I will. And I'm hoping to go all the way through. God give me the health and strength to do so.
Whenever you have a good start with a song, but I have to admire your tenacity over the many years. We know who knows your story. You have some difficulties, physical, because of an incident happened years ago on your job, but you have not given up that aspect of your life. You love singing, you love performing, you love pleasing the fans. And so far, I think you're off to a very good start. So I have to congratulate you. Nothing happens unless you start it. It starts with you. Others will come aboard. So it's been a pleasure working with you and your daughter. And if I may say so myself, I love the production.
And I learned to know over the years, Sako, only you can keep yourself down. It doesn't matter what
Speak to us, speak to us, speak to us, inspire us.
What people say, how they feel, or what they think, the last say is yours. Because whatever you want to achieve, whether it's mentally or physically, as long as it's in your reach, in your grasp, you shall get that done.
Okay. We're speaking to the awesome navigator, ex-soldier, Calypsonian, and he just released his Sugar Mass 51 contribution entitled Home Sweet Home. He was accompanied in the studio on the background vocals by his 12-year-old daughter. And I know you're a proud daddy. I know she's happy to have worked with you. First project ever. And I think the song should set the tone for the rest of the Sugar Mass 51 season. Congratulations. Any contribution, any other words you want to say to your fans, etc., etc.? I mean, you got the mic at the moment.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the production and your patience with me. And I would just like to say to the fans, just look forward for great things coming from the awesome navigator. Have a good afternoon.
There you have it. There you have it. You would have heard from the awesome navigator. And I think sometime later on, maybe before the program closes, we'll play a bit of the song. We're talking carnival or any issue you want to bring. First, I want to say congratulations to the 18 graduates of the UE Campus Global. I think yesterday, was it Saturday? They had 18 students graduating, and of the 18, 5 are male. 18, 5 are male. And I've looked at this aspect for many, many years, where our young people are emerging to be professionals, but proportionately, it's like 3 females to 1 in that equation. Congratulations to all. But it's remarkable to note that of the folks who are emerging with the academia within our federation, and I would say farther field, the ratio male-female is 3 to 1. So all you guys out there who want to play macho men and don't go to school and you're flashing and you're posing and you're posturing, your girlfriends are becoming the bosses of the industries that you will have to find yourself employed in. So you need to step up and represent. It's not a macho thing anymore. It has never been a macho thing. We fool ourselves into believing that women were the weaker sex and should be subservient and this and that and that and this. That's not how it's playing out around the world today. And it's mindful to note that of the persons graduating on Saturday from the UE Open Global Campus, 18 persons graduated. Congratulations. Only 5 were male. If my math serves me right, the other 13 is female. So let's take this in consideration. And young men, pull up your pants in the first place. And then it's not about pulling up your socks. Pull up your pants. Right? Look at your deportment and double check yourself. The ladies are taking over, and congratulations are due to them for their diligence and dedication to their school work. You guys represent us, okay? Chris Collins is on the technical end of it. He's a world-renowned photographer out of Newtown. I don't think we have any world-renowned photographer out of Sandy Point, so I'm going to give him that for now. But in the meantime, congratulations to the students from the UE Global Campus. And yes, the phone lines are open. Anybody want to weigh in on the song that we just played, first release for the 2022 Sugar Mass season, entitled Home Sweet Home by the Navigator. 6620989 gets you on the program. The potential judge of the competition is afraid to weigh in on remarks as it relates to the song, but that's okay. That's okay. 6620989 gets you in the program. We're talking Carnival. We're talking 10th opening on the 3rd of November. We're talking about Vision Calypsonians coming down, musicians making this thing work. It's a national event, so we want to congratulate them also taking part. We got about 9 divisions in the Legends tent. I think when I leave here, I'm going to speak to a sponsor or two. 2 of our major sponsors would have, due to the fact that the new board of directors being installed, these are statutory corporations, they couldn't come up to sponsor as usual. So we're looking sponsors. Legends are looking sponsors. Of course, the Carnival Committee is working with us. But due to the fact that, of course, the change of government, there were changes of the board of directors in two of the corporations, well, statutory corporations, two of the companies that normally sponsor us. We are there with hat in hands. Nevertheless, we plan to put a good production out to entice the Calypso loving public to come out to the tents when over the open. There are two tents. There's Proud Sound. There is the Legends tent. And at the moment, we're pushing boulders up the hill. We're pushing like a boulder up the hill, but we will get there and open our gates on time. 8 o'clock on the 3rd of November. It's a midweek event. We'll be running our tents during midweek, so we won't clash with the more popular events on the weekends, the jam sessions here in Frigate Bay, etc. But we will be bringing a class product to the Calypso loving public. We'll be streaming the shows sometime after. So those, the online demographic who can reach the tents, we will be putting out our works just to entice people to support the entire effort of Carnival. It's our thing. The phrase is that we're now outside. We have 2 years of COVID restrictions. We're now back to normal. We want to get our people out, not only the troops, not only in all the various events that we want you to support, but fundamentally, we want you to support the Calypso tents. We want the support of the public in the Calypso tent. There'll be events later on that's open to the public, but initially, we need to raise some funds to cover the managerial fees and really encourage the Calypsonians because they give of their best every carnival season. Only a few advance to the final stage where you're guaranteed a payday. Those in the tents may not always have that, but they need your support. So don't say, well, so what? Come out and support your local Calypsonians. If you don't get that support, they can get to the international level. So please, I'm begging, according to the Nigerians, I beg. I beg. We're going to pause at this point for a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with more of the program. Yes, we taking a station break to give Caesar his due, and we will be back momentarily.
Don't stop, won't stop, can't stop the never-ending cashback at Horsewoods. Yes, it's that time of the year. Double cashback coupon season is here. The season when Horsewoods Furniture and Appliances gives away millions in free groceries with every FlexPay purchase and a chance to win 1 year in free groceries with a never-ending double cashback. Yes, the Horsewoods never-ending double cashback is back for even more free groceries. This is double cashback coupon season, so come today and get double cashback coupons for absolutely free groceries in the never-ending double cashback promotion. Yes, happening now. Get double cashback coupons for absolutely free groceries with every higher purchase. The never-ending double cashback is back at Horsewoods Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store, where you get double cashback coupons for free groceries with every FlexPay purchase. Don't stop, won't stop, can't stop the never-ending savings, never-ending discounts, never-ending quality and service, and the never-ending double cashback for this double cashback coupon season. Don't miss it. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Six 662-0989 gets you in on the open mic session on Win FM today. It's actually Voices, and we're in the second half of the program. We would have played at the start of the second half a brand new Calypso released by the Awesome Navigator entitled Home Sweet Home. We had a call from the gentleman. We had some commentary. The lines are open, and we want to discuss most in Carnival, or, anything relevant to the development of our society. We've seen the, interestingly, I saw a news item that says I think it was Alva Pemberton was dismissed from the UN. I don't have the news item here. Forthwith, I'm told he was dismissed. And I was about to make contact with the gentleman at the mission there. Okay, let's take this call. Call 11 Voices.
Hey, the king. Good afternoon, sir.
Good. A long time no hear from you. What's going on with you?
I'm good, man. I'm doing good for my age.
Well, that's good. Talk to us. Glad to hear from you.
Yes, man. I got some topic here that we need to address.
Talk to me.
My good friend Curtis Cook gonna come in and make noise about it, but that's how the thing go. Yeah. Here what happening.
Mm-hmm.
We have the qualification of the World Netball Tournament being held, I think, is in Jamaica. You know, I think it's Nevis is a good contending netball team throughout the Caribbean for a very long time.
Okay.
And I find it very heartbroken that we did not send a team from St. Kitts Nevis to try and qualify to go to South Africa next year for the World Championship.
Is there a reason why?
Nobody saying nothing.
Was the team ready?
Trinidad is there. Barbados is there. America now send a team.
Are we not represented?
America send a team to represent them.
Mm-hmm.
But that team is made up of most Caribbean people
Nationals,
that
yes.
and own the way there, so they put them on a team there and send them back to try and beat we Caribbean teams.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you, have you tried to inquire why? Was the team ready?
I've been calling on a number of talk shows and asking questions, but nobody is releasing or saying anything.
What does Curtis have to say on the matter?
Well, I called on a talk show on this morning, and then I turn off to go in town to do something, and then people are calling me and telling me Curtis Cook on. Same thing. The other thing I want to address too.
Uh-huh.
You know, for a very long time we had the yellow dad disease that killed out all over coconut trees.
Yep.
That yellow dad disease has long gone. Now, it broke my heart.
It was called a mealybug, the pink mealybug.
Yes, the pink mealybug.
Mm-hmm.
It broke my heart, the king, to see that every Monday and Tuesday we have to be importing coconuts from Dominica or St. Vincent. You go in the supermarket, coconut in bottle and in can. When we used to have it there, we just walk here to supply my tree. We even stand up and pick them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, and this is since way back when Labour was in the first time before now, and before Unity, right after PAM 95 there, I've been saying to the Labour government after all these trees were dying, let us import back some seedlings. They did that. You remember the Honorable Nigel Carty said he had ordered something like 5,000 or something like that seedlings. He have them on an estate. And when I keep calling and saying we need to come and see these seedlings, he said the public will get an opportunity. We're still waiting.
I see. He said that they had that order like 5,000 seedlings and they are situated at the estate. Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in the island, he said, I can't remember the estate he called. But he said the public will get a chance to come and see them. We are still waiting.
But you're recommending a replanting regime. That's
the coconut, the jelly and the coconut from St. Vincent and Dominica.
Yeah.
Why don't we order 10 or 15,000 seedlings
and plant
in all different sizes, plant them and get back our coconuts and jelly back into being?
Mm-hmm.
Nevis is now doing that.
Yes, we need to have a replanting regime. It's irrelevant. There's now, as you know, we know there's a change of government, so maybe the current Minister of Agriculture would look at that program.
Yes, I hope he do, because here is it. It used to be so nice, you just walk down the road, you pick a jelly anywhere.
Yep.
You could have go on the street and buy local coconut water. You could have get local coconut. Imagine we have to put in orders early. When Easter coming up, you know we have people with our coconut dumpling and saltfish. We got to wait on Dominica and St. Vincent to send a shipment.
Say the part again?
You know Easter time. You know it's our coconut and dumpling and saltfish and so. we don't have no coconut in the island, so we have to order them from St. Vincent or Dominica.
You also have to order saltfish.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that we used to just go over Canary, go anywhere in the island and just pick up some coconut.
Back in the day. I agree with you. We should have a planting.
We have touched the line round. I mean, bearing grass. Yes, the grass is good for animals and things, but we need to know coconuts are bearing between them like once ago.
So your appeal now is to the current Minister of Agriculture, et al., to deal with the matter of replanting the coconuts. You say it's been done in Nevis.
Yes, we could order seedlings. We could order them in many sizes. We could order them 4 feet, 3 feet, 1. We could, and get the different size back up and go in.
Back in the day, I gave you credit for coming up with some great ideas. You still do. You still do?
Man. One other thing.
Yes.
I would like the Minister of Sports to look into those blown lights in the park on the football field.
The what lights? The floodlights?
Yes. They have a lot of problems with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I will hope that the Minister of Sports will look into that matter. If you check out right now, there is the final going on in our football championship between Connery and St. Paul, and that is played on the cricket stadium.
Oh.
Because there is not enough light on the football field to accommodate that. And also, when I ask a question to somebody in the know, they say why they're doing the championship on the cricket field is because they have the correct amount of light and it is very good for videoing.
Okay. So the lighting on the football field is not adequate for recording.
For hosting the championship.
Okay. So they need to upgrade. But in the meantime,
being taken over to the cricket field.
Okay.
Because for the videoing, the person told me the quality of light is very good for the videoing.
Okay, that's understandable.
Right.
So then is it?
I hope somebody would look into that and get our lights back up and running, because I do believe we having too much of cricket happening now for us to be taking other sports on the cricket field. And we have a number of football fields and stadiums with lights all around, but I guess the championship can hold it because the person said the quality of the videoing.
You're a man with your ear to the ground and you're a concerned citizen. Maybe when Curtis came on, he was complimenting you. What do you think?
The Honorable Curtis Maynard?
I told Curtis. Huh?
Well, no, not really, What is happening is that Curtis march and protest and lament on the last government for 7 years.
7 years.
But now his government it seems like he don't want you to keep the fire blazing under his government feet.
I see. I see. I told Curtis I haven't heard from him at all.
When they just down and give them a time, I'm here at the king. Yes, but here what happening. The government changes will happen, but the government continues.
Of course.
And go on the king.
Yes. I am. Hey, Calbon, thank you for that call. Of course, it's always important is hearing what you have to say. But I did say to Curtis I haven't heard from him for a long time. He said, "Man, I'll call you." So maybe he will be prompted to call today. So whatever his response was this morning, you don't know if he called to compliment you or not. But as it is, we're all concerned citizens wanting the best for our federation. So no criticism there. Okay. Thank you so very much for that. Let's see what Chris Collins have to say. We go back to the phone lines. Caller, live on Voices.
Good afternoon, the King.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I am good. You say you're live. I'm live.
Say again?
When you say good afternoon, you are live.
Yep.
Well, you got to be careful to who you're making certain jokes with you.
That is true.
When you tell Carl we shouldn't be buying saltfish or something like that, he ain't get it,
No, what I'm saying, okay, here's the thing. Saltfish is part of a national dish. So when and so it's coconut dumpling. So when he commented that we have to get coconut from overseas to be part of a national dish, I'm saying, well, we also have to import saltfish, don't we?
Yeah.
We have local saltfish?
When he come here, he become local. But
why we the local? We have to pay tax on it?
He was not caught in our waters.
You have to pay tax on it?
Okay. We have to pay tax on the saltfish when he get here.
Okay.
Okay.
So what's up?
Well, I hear listening now. Well, come to the sports now. What Carl was talking about, the qualifying of the netballers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what Curtis said this morning is true. Because you have to be you have to be able to up to a certain standard nationally before they could say, well, okay, you all come go to Jamaica or wheresoever for trials.
Mm-hmm.
Because if your standard at home is not pleasing to the spectators, it don't make no sense we send them out there because it's a game.
That's why I asked him if you know the reason why. There has to be some rationale behind that.
Because look at it. The last Caribbean competition they had there before the COVID or whatnot, I wasn't pleased with the results of our team. Not from the record and the standard that the greatest the greatest netball team in the Caribbean, 1971-72.
Okay.
When those Warriors were there, they have laid down a standard that the others who come behind them sharply, they were keeping up that standard, and then the standard got right down. I mean, countries who used to be 60-20, now them they take
60-20.
Yeah. Them they take over and beating us and say, no man, no. I think spectators should have a say before they pick any national team to go represent the country. Because it's embarrassing to see when you in a race or whatever it is, and the first person don't reach in, take out the shoe and change clothes, and you're still over there far from finishing.
Yeah,
you know what's that? Go ahead.
Well, the coach and the persons in charge would know why they didn't send the team. If they're underprepared, I cannot understand that. We just have to prepare for the next level. Sometimes we come out and criticize not knowing all the issues. So we hope that we can mount a team to go out and represent us in all the fields of endeavor as often as it's feasible.
Right, and then the coaches, they should take suggestion from the observers, the spectators who watching our team.
Yep.
Because what the one-man coach do not see, hundreds of people in the stand, they could see a problem and they could point it out to the coach.
Quite so.
Now, let me go to the cricket now.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed, I ain't hitting nobody, but I noticed people who talking about cricket, before they talk about the youngsters, them youths them, and let's try to get our youths them up to triple figures when they go in the wicket go bat. The kind of age group that they're talking about, that is not helping the youths. Everybody playing for fun, but you don't emphasize on a certain age group.
Okay.
Right up top and leave the youth them on today. The youth them who we expect to make our patriotic team. The youth them, and if we don't push them with the kind of push that they need to encourage them, what gonna happen? All of them gonna go play basketball and football.
Well,
they're gonna study no cricket. Go ahead.
We have to mold them, and whatever the challenges are, I think they will be addressed, because we as a people are known to send our best up there, to recruit the best, to train the best. There'll be hiccups here and there. But I think we are all well-intentioned, and at the end of the day, we all want the best for our federation, our athletes, our sportsmen, our cultural, aficionados. Is that a big word, Mallets? Well, that's the way it is, okay? So being concerned is very important, right? And so we keep their feet to the flames by expressing our concerns in this democracy, all hoping for the best and the better for our federation, okay?
Look, I'm going to say this now and then I'm going.
Right.
We cannot walk a quarter mile without having the youth them interest.
Of course.
Right close to us. We have to.
Of course.
Pull them along with us, otherwise they're going to go astray.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, our cricket ain't doing nothing. Our cricket in Sinkers ain't doing nothing at all. As soon as Nevis organize a match, you can hear two fellas reach up to qualification standard. That those in the West Indies, they don't looking at them. Come on, people, man. Come on, step up. Don't leave the youth behind with the cricket. Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Okay.
There's something that we have to look at over the many years. I think it comes down to dedication, but I'm not the expert in this thing over the cricket in terms of who gets selected from Nevis over those from St. Kitts, so I observe. If we read a message sent from the Mallet, and it reads, let Socrates know that his dear friend Mallet remains totally, utterly, and completely proud of him. Oh, I'm blushing. As a consistent and persistent Calypso guru of St. Kitts and Nevis. Having a title, Calypso guru. But here's what, Mallet. I am sending out a challenge to you for a witty Calypso showdown this carnival season. I may have to look at sponsorship for that, but Sylvester Socrates Hodge is extending a challenge to Mallet the Hammer, former National Calypso Monarch of St. Kitts, to bring your best witty songs. I'll have mine and we'll have a showdown. Let's go to the phone lines in the meantime. Caller, you're live on Voices.
Hey, good afternoon.
Sister Henry, good afternoon. Love to hear your voice. What's going on? What's up?
Oh, I didn't hear you advertise this 0989, so I said let me try it.
6, yeah. Well, you know the numbers, so don't have to advertise it. You know the numbers.
And sometimes the landline don't work.
Yeah, we have some
Anyway,
challenges.
Good afternoon.
We've had some challenges, but of course, glad to be hearing from you.
I'm glad I got in, so let me give God thanks.
Naturally.
Yes, can you deserve it, you know?
Of course.
I am here saying October gone, you know, I'm counting down the hurricanes, you know?
Yeah, we're creeping there to the end of the hurricane season.
Well, we need rain, eh? So even though all of us have law, we don't need no flood, but we need rain.
No rain, no food.
Rain to top up the aquifer, you know?
No rain, no food.
You know, rain, no life.
There you go.
Now, I called to compliment my president of the St. Kitts Nevis Association of Persons with Disabilities.
The awesome navigator.
Oh, yes. I called to compliment him. You know, and to let other people know you can do it. You have a disability, don't mean you can't do anything. Some people drop sit down and put their hand in the lap and woe is me. You know what I mean?
Give up, yep.
They give up. And I must compliment his daughter.
12 years old.
Yes. We have a lot of children who can sing, you know.
Yes.
You find them in churches. You find most of them in the churches. That's what happened in America, too. Most of the singers in all the fields come out of the churches.
Quite so.
And so we need to train the children while they're in church. Don't just let them drag their voice all over the place. So I compliment him on his good work. And I must compliment also the writers of the calypsos. You know, I always say we have...
Yeah, go ahead.
No, our people do very well, you know. Sometimes we say, oh, well, this person can't speak or they didn't go far in school. But they write some very good calypsos.
They're skilled in other areas.
I'm telling you, we take a lot of things for granted. We need to honor and respect our calypsonians, both the singers and the writers, and the courage. Because some of them really want to live, you know? They want the pitch,
Training.
But the courage, and it builds up our repertoire, our history. You know, I recall when I was working, UNICEF does send out a survey every year. I don't know if you know.
Depending on what it is.
Yes, you have to. They will ask how many books were published, you know?
Okay.
And we should keep a check on the number of calypsos that are written every year. Because sometimes we have nothing to send because nobody is keeping record.
Okay,
so that you
okay,
have your
okay.
tents coming to you now. You have had tents over the years.
22 years.
Right, so you're supposed to have a big library of the calypsos and the calypsonian names, because some of them have died and so. So we could have a proper record. Now, Dr. Clough, you remember Dr. Clough?
Of course, Errol Clough.
Right, he went as far as to publish his lyrics.
I have a book. I have one of his books, yes.
That's what I'm saying. So that can be done. That can be done because even in other countries, people sing our people song.
Yes.
You have these lyrics published. One time they used to be in a newspaper. I don't remember if it was the Spokesman or the Democrat. You remember?
Democrat.
Right, they used to have the lyrics. Because start again, it would motivate the young people who do it English in school.
Well, Alumulu has a few volumes of his songs in publication.
Who?
Alumulu.
Right. And those can be used for history lessons, you know?
Yep.
I mean, the only thing you want really is the tune, you know?
No, I ain't touching that. But this morning...
I'm talking about having a record of the lyrics.
Yes, he has done that. On both the audio and in print form. There was a book launched by the museum entrance some years ago.
What have you done?
Me?
Personally.
I listened. This morning, sir, my guest for the first session, Dr. Samuel Rollins, admonished me to have a catalog of my work. And I'm thinking, yes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to surprise.
Yesterday won't do, right?
Pardon?
I'll get somebody to do it for you if you're very busy.
I'm very busy, but I'm
going
to do it.
Calypsonians in your tent. You know, this one from the country is Walk In, Walk Out.
Which one is that?
Again. He's a David and Goliath.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. I know what you mean. Navigator.
He has some interesting
yes.
calypsos.
Yeah.
Relevant.
Quite so.
You know, so I want to commend all the Calypsonians on their courage and keeping the culture alive. And for the young people who are coming up. However, I think we must encourage the young people to write their own calypsos.
That discussion we held a few weeks ago at the Carnival Committee office, so at least help them. They need mentorship into doing that, so I think that's a program that will be unfolding next year.
When you look at the lyrics, it's beyond the age.
Quite so.
You know, so I am proud of our people's culture.
I want to thank you for that.
Yeah, I recall around that now. I was in Barbados 1 year when they had Carnival. I went up to look after my eyes as usual.
Yes.
And they were having the same Flo. Flo was celebrating 3 years or something. Flo, you know. And they had this thing in Bridgetown, by the National Eagles Park. And so they were putting on a lot of the Calypsonians. And I said, boy, they look like they only get one or two good ones, you know?
When you compare it to what we have in St. Kitts?
I'm telling you, I mean, it's only the one and the two, really, you know? I said to myself, boy, we got more Calypsonians, better Calypsonians than them. They got the one and the two.
Well, Red Plastic Bag told me that a few months ago.
Huh?
Red Plastic Bag told me in a conversation that we have the better Calypsonians in the region.
I'm telling you, people might think I'm prejudiced, but I did saying, boy, let them get singing, boy. You understand? But they have, to me, they have good music. They back up.
Anyway, Neglector is the name of the Calypsonian you're trying to record. Somebody just sent me.
Right. I just enjoy his songs. He and my good villager, Unexpected, and Reggie.
Yeah.
You know, and so somebody had to encourage more of the young people. Craig and all of them and so.
Yeah. We want to thank you.
Everybody will be singing.
Okay, we got about 5 minutes. We want to thank you for your contribution. Thank you so very much. Interesting development. I just sent a challenge to the Mallet to meet me competition for a witty Calypso showdown. I got a text from someone who don't want a name to be mentioned. He's offering 10,000. Sorry, yeah. No, I thought it was $10,000. He's offering $1,000 to the winner. So that's a contribution. A calypso showdown, a witty calypso showdown between the Mallet, former calypso monarch of SKN, who now resides in Lucia. He goes on the sobriquet of the Hammer. Let's take a last call before we wrap things up. Call your live on Voices.
Pleasant afternoon to you, King.
Good afternoon, sir. How about thou?
Great. I didn't get to hear the Navigator composition because I came on late.
Okay, I'm going to ask the engineer to play it at the end of the program, so listen to it, okay? We'll be done in a few minutes. I'm going to ask him to play so you can hear it.
Okay, yeah. So, question you had there with Miss Henry.
Yes.
You know, the funny thing is, it's something I tried to encourage Starship to do over 30 years ago.
Yep.
Right? To publish his lyrics and the score sheet.
Yep.
The written form. But he never got to it. I myself now, with the vast catalog that I have, contemplating putting out publishing a book as well. I haven't started at all as yet, but for me it's going to be a little more difficult because for the past about 15, 18 years, I have not really written songs down on paper.
I understand that.
Because I have my software that I compose, the way how I approach composing now. I write the lyrics as I'm singing it in. You know? And so I haven't physically written any. Even when I write for people, I have to go and because they need it, I have to now go and listen to the song and write it out and send it
Same
to them.
here. Same here. So I tell you, understand.
Yeah. So it's so for persons like you and I, it's going to be difficult unless we get some major help. You know. So like I said, I come up with some music first, some chord structure. I'll hum like a dummy melody first, and then I got a good structure of a dummy melody. Then I'll go back into the software now and go along the line and just start singing stanza by stanza in. You know, so because to sit down and write out.
But it's good advice. It's good advice because you're documenting your legacy. So you've got to do that, right?
Yes.
And I'm admonished to repeat the challenge again to Mallet. We got about 2 minutes. So yes, you're still there?
When you get a chance, because I don't think I have it in my WhatsApp. Send me your number because I have to. I did write something on my WordPad.
Yep.
On my iPad, that I have to send you.
Okay, sir.
That thing you wanted with my mom and Brimstone and stuff.
Yes, sir. All right, appreciate that.
So I did put it together.
All right, sir. Thank you. Yes, to repeat the challenges sent out to the Mallet and the Hammer. He must be a carpenter. I am challenging the Mallet to a witty calypso showdown for Sugar Mass 51. I mean, you have to come home. As things said, home sweet home. And we have a contribution of $1,000 in prize money so far. We may not get it sponsored, but I think the public will love to see something new. A witty calypso showdown between the Mallets and more. So that's extended to Mallet, Hammer, what you want to call yourself. He's a great calypsonian and a former calypso monarch. So, you know, fun apart, I'm looking forward to that quality of competition in terms of your witty songs versus my witty songs, and we shall take it from there. We are just about at the end of play for today's presentation of Voices. As Bunty will request now, Mr. Engineer, can you play the song by Nick Lecter, the first release of Sugar Mass 51, Home Sweet Home, and they could take us out if you could find it. I want to thank all our callers, all our folks who contributed. Navigator. You know, you're getting old, we might get all convoluted, right? So let Navigator take us out. As we say to you guys, peace, love, have a wonderful, rest of Wednesday, tomorrow, Thursday, and actually back on Friday to continue with more episodes of Voices. Thank you. I'm out of here.
So you come back home for a vacation. Let me know you love this land. Posing with your flag, I hear you boast and brag. You love this land too bad. Next day you on a plane, continue in the brain drain, claiming the salary too small for you to live here. While the Chinese, the Guyanese, Jamaicans and Dominicans moving while you're contributing elsewhere. While I understand the need for migration and free movement in the region, your home, sweet home, becoming someone else. So you fly in to vote, you claim to rescue the country. Then you fly out to build the next man's economy, while foreigners making your land of beauty a home, sweet home. It occurred to you that your land of beauty needs your helping hand, and that we could make this your land of opportunity by working as one. You say you're contributing from other land to our nation building, and that is your plan. Well, I hope you plan to hold a deed, a piece of land in your hand, before you come home to find it all gone. While I understand the need for migration and free movement in the region, your home, sweet home, becoming someone else. So you're flying to vote, you claim to rescue your country. Then you fly out to build a next man